I'm not a candidate number one. I am a former businessman and a mayor.
Is 2008 a good year for an independent candidate like Michael Bloomberg? New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg continues to give at least hints that he might consider jumping into the presidential race as an independent candidate. He has the great virtue of being independently wealthy, so he could finance his own race, which makes it a lot easier than for somebody like, say, Ralph Nader, who ran as an independent candidate in a couple of previous elections. What do we know about the American public's willingness or openness for an independent candidate? Well, let's look at a couple of questions that we recently asked and we had asked back in 1992. That's an important comparison. You'll remember 1992, the year when Ross Perot ran as an independent candidate. At one point, he was leading both Bill Clinton and George Bush Sr. in the polls, and Perot ended up with 19% of the overall popular vote in that year. First, the question, do you think there's a candidate running who would make a good president? Back in 1992, only 40% of Americans said yes. Now more than double that. 84% of Americans say yes. Both of these were in January, that is January of 92 and January of this year. This is highly significant. Look at the huge difference. Another question showed much the same thing. Have any of the candidates running for president come up with good ideas for solving the nation's problems? Now we have almost 6 out of 10 Americans who say yes. Back in January of 1992, that number, just 29%. So on both of these measures, we've got essentially more than twice as many Americans who are positive about the candidates this year as was the case back in 1992. Again, leading us here at Gallup to the assumption that it's not necessarily a great environment, compared to 92 at any rate, for an independent candidate to jump into the race. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Editor-in-Chief for the Gallup Poll.